started, huh? Josh, aka Great Up Customs and Project Hondarod. You guys are new to the channel. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for stopping by, all that fun jazz. And if you haven't seen the car before, this is Project Hondarod. Project Hondarod is a mid-engine, 100% scratch-built hot rod by myself, and we are working on the big boy engine swap. This is the H22A4. This is the first time the engine's been actually fit in the car. Just the other day, I tried to put the axles in, and I had a slight issue. So I called my homie Don over at RPM Systems in New York, and Don said that the Honda EP3 axles are a direct swap for the H22 kit. So when I got this engine package, it had a pair of axles with it, but unfortunately, the passenger side axle is incorrect. So I'm gonna take the wheel and tire off. I'm going to take the rear suspension out, and we are going to see if this EP3 axle actually goes in. And I think it should, because my homie Don is the man. If you're on Instagram, he goes by V6Goat, G-O-A-T, and Don knows his stuff, let me tell you. So if you guys have a J-Series Honda that you need some parts for, hit Don up. He does wire harnesses. He knows all the ins and outs to make big horsepower on those. So, yeah, without any further ado, I'm going to grab a couple tools here, and we're going to get crack-a-lacking. In theory, this should go by pretty quick. That's the game plan anyway. That's the hope. So the other night when I was doing the test fit, it took me about an hour to do both sides. So I'm expecting this to probably take, I don't know, 20 minutes, half hour to test fit this axle. So come along for the party. I also did get a brand new driver's side axle as well. I didn't need to do that, but I figured since I'm getting the brand new passenger one, it's like 6 one, half dozen the other, right? So might as well just get a pair of brand new ones. But like I said, the driver's side does fit. That axle went in like butter. But the passenger side one did not. The beautiful thing about this car is since it uses all the Honda EG Civic stuff in the rear, it's very, very, very easy to work on. And I did design the car to be serviceable. Hi, Amy. Happy Tuesday. We're going to see if a brand new axle fits in the car. I'm working on a brand new engine swap, and the axles that I got with it weren't quite right. So this is round 2 for the axle swap. Jack stand set up here. Not quite high enough yet. Yes, I actually built this car 100% from scratch by myself. The only part of the car I had any help with was bleeding the brakes. And that is 100% no cap, real deal. I built the body from scratch. I built the chassis from scratch. I built it all. So it is 100% my creation. I am going to kill the ringer volume here for you guys. I've got some Instagram notifications and stuff like that going on. If you're not following my Instagram, it is Grey Duck Customs for my fabrication, or Project Hondarod. So to answer your question, how much horsepower this has, we are dealing with 205 horsepower of Honda Prelude H22A4. This is a brand new engine swap. I did have a single overhead cam Honda in it prior to this point, and that was only 130 horsepower. So this is going to be a big upgrade. This is going to be a big upgrade for the car. And I cannot wait. Let me tell you, it's been a very long time coming that I've been wanting to throw some horsepower at it. The car does weigh 1,900 pounds. So it's pretty lightweight. It's basically a street legal go-kart. There we go. Got to do that safety first thing, you know, got to get the car supported and make sure it's stable. Yeah, I sure hope it's fast. It's, in theory, it should be about as fast as a Corvette now. Which, if that happens, I'm going to be smiling a lot more than I have been. And the car is already super fun to drive. I kind of feel like Mario Andretti driving it around. I can see the front tires when I drive. It doesn't have a roof. I mean, it's like I said, basically a street legal go-kart. But it should be a monster with the new engine package. It's going to be fun. My buddies and I go out to the Bonneville Salt Flats every year. I have a friend who races a gas-altered Monte Carlo that does about 185 mile an hour. And they also have a streetcar class out there. And so we've kind of talked about taking the car out there to do a fun run to kind of see what it would do. And as much of an awesome opportunity that would be, the Salt Flats is pretty bad on rusting and making things all crappy. So I don't know. It's on the table though. It would be really fun to take this out on the Bonneville Salt Flats. From a history point of view, you know what I mean? All right. So you can see just how big and fat these back tires are. This particular rim is an 18 by 9, and it is a 255 45 18 tire. So what that means is for a Honda, that's massive. For a hot rod, it's about a normal size tire for a hot rod, but for a Honda, that's a lot of wheel to be turning with a Honda. So that is one of the reasons why I chose the H22. It's just because of the sheer amount of torque that's available on that engine. Where are we going to start here? Like I said, I had this apart the other day, so it's still pretty darn fresh in my mind. There we go. I think I actually only need 2 sockets to take the whole back of this car apart. Got the stock Del Sol steering rack in here. It is locked out, so it does not steer from the back. The steering is up front. But we do need it for suspension adjustments and keeping the rear toe controlled. So that's where that comes into play. We have a stock steering rack, stock adjustability, and I'm able to adjust the rear suspension accordingly. Very simple. And then also, I've got a pair of coilovers in here. These are from Skunk 2 Racing. These are their Pro ST coilovers. I have had nothing but good luck with Skunk 2 suspension parts. So I run them on the front of the car and the rear of the car. I do need to take some spring preload out this because the struts are loaded right now. Give me just a half a second here. So the really nice thing about these Skunk 2s is I'm able to adjust the ride height and the preload of the rear coilover. Right now I've got about 2 turns of preload dialed in. I wasn't sure because the new engine weighs so much more than the old engine, what I would actually need. And 2 turns of preload is actually too much. It raises the car up a little bit higher than I thought it was going to raise it up. So until it's actually on the road, I don't exactly know what it's going to need for, being on the track and being on the street. But it's one of those 6, one half a dozen the other things, We set it up in the shop, we go test drive it, and we make modifications later, right? Just like a real deal race car. Okay. Project Hondarod actually turns 5 in April. I've had the car on the street since 2020, April of 2020. Go figure that I built my dream car from scratch, get it on the road, and then the world gets canceled. It was just comical. There was no car shows to take it to, so all I do is just drive it and drive it and drive it and drive it. And I just loaded on miles that summer. I've loaded on miles every summer since. This car's now got about 40,000 miles on it in the last 5 years. If it's not raining, well, even if it is raining, I drive it in the rain. I'm a hot rodder. We don't care about that kind of stuff. But if it's good weather, I'm driving the car. To and from work, to and from gas stations, bounding around back roads, hitting antique stores, that kind of stuff. I'll go anywhere. There we go. And I got a couple more 17 mils on the top. Get myself an extension here. There we go. So this is the Skunk Pro ST out of the car up close. I do use a 1.5 inch riser block on the top of this because when I set up the car suspension, I was using the dimensions of a stock coilover or a stock strut assembly. The Skunk Pro STs are actually 2 inches lower than what a normal stock Honda coilover would be or a stock strut would be. So in order to get my suspension geometry correct, I had to add that riser, and no big deal. Tiny little bit of extra weight, no big deal. And then there we go. Take off this upper control arm and we should be ready for an axle install, huh? And I'm going to be so excited if this goes in. Like I said, my homie Don over in New York, RPM Systems, said that this would work, and I trust him 100%. Don is one of those old school Honda guys that kind of helped pave the way for a lot of the stuff that's currently going on in the Honda tuning and performance world. Come on. Might need to get a little tool here, give it a little bit of a bump. There we go. All right. So now that the stock knuckle is out of the way, you can see all the room that we have in terms of where this knuckle spindle is going right now. And we're going to take the spindle nut off so we can get this in. And here's the moment of truth. This is what we've all been waiting for. This is what I was having problems with the other day. It was not going in. So let's see. There we go. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign. It is engaged in the transmission. And now, let's see if I can get this in the spindle. Oh, this looks promising. This looks really promising. Come on. There we go. Yeah. All right. We're halfway there. Final test. I have to make sure this upper control arm actually goes back into the housing. We're going to use a little bit of hydraulic support here. We work smarter, not harder here around this shop. There we go. We are in business. My homie Don, RPM Systems, thank you so much, dude. That axle worked out perfect. Perfect. Come on. If I can get my control arm back up in here now. There we go. This is going to be awesome. There we go. Cool. There we go, something like that. Take our Skunk 2 Pro STs, put those back in real quick here. I suppose I didn't actually need to take out the strut to do this. But again, this car is extremely serviceable, so why not? If it saves me a little bit of hassle, it's worth it. And because we're a little bougie, we want to make sure the logo's lined up correctly, just like so. There we go. There we go. Just like that. This is almost like NASCAR, isn't it? Almost like NASCAR. This is going to be coming back out again, so I'm not going to be super critical about torque specs at this time. Like I said, this is just the first mock-up of the new H22 setup, so there will be there will be more fun to come, put it that way, taking it back out, cleaning it up, getting all the wiring harness done. All right, so I'm going to show you guys something here. I'm going to slide this over here. So on the Pro ST coilovers, we've got two adjusters. We've got a top adjuster ring and a bottom adjuster ring. There we go. Top adjuster ring, bottom adjuster ring. So the top adjuster ring is what you actually set your preload with. And when I do that, right now it's very hand snug. I can basically loosen this and tighten this by hand. So this would be zero preload or minimal preload. So what I will end up doing is taking my spanner wrench here and let's see if I can give you guys a better angle here. So I'll take my spanner wrench and I'll actually give this a few turns. Let's get the bigger one here. Give this a couple turns. And like I said, I did about 10 quarter turns when I set it up the first time, which would be about 2 full turns of preload. And I don't have an exact measurement for that. I just know that the car has a certain ride height and a certain amount of suspension travel when it's on the ground. And so I'm just trying to hit that. I'm not keeping exact track here. That might have been 6 or 7. I just need to be in the ballpark. I've got plenty of ride height clearance right now. You guys will see. There we go. So this bottom spanner, I think it's screwed in just to kind of lock it in place. And I'm not going to tighten this up yet because, again, this is coming back out very soon. We're just making sure that that axle actually fits. And so far it fits like a champ. There we go. Get the jack out of the way. We'll get the tire back on and get this dropped on the ground and see what it looks like and make sure that that axle looks like it's at a good angle when it's down on the ground. Let's see here. Something like so. I'm not doing a time check yet to see how long this actually took me to put the axle in, but I'm going to take a guess it's probably been about, what, half hour or so? Like I said, super, super, super serviceable car. I built the car to work on. Surprisingly, nothing has failed on the car except for one engine computer. And aside from just getting a new computer, unplugging the old one and plugging it back in, I've had no suspension issues. I've had no brake issues. I've had no drivability issues. It has been, it's been reliable as heck. I would dare to say it's been reliable as a brand new Honda, which considering it is the Hondarod, that is appropriate, right? Boom, 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 boom. And again, I'm not going to do a crazy wheel torque right now. I'm just going to get them kind of snug. Because, again, they're all coming off again once everything is test fit. There we go. We are snug. Snug as a bug. Take our safety jack stand out here. And we are coming down. Just like so. And I am going to give this a little jump. Kind of load the suspension down a little bit. Get that set. And you can see I still have plenty of gap right now between the body and the wheel and tire. So this will come down probably about another 1/4 inch, something like that. Like I said, no big deal. It is what it is. But let me get this camera here and get you flipped around. Let's see here. Flip. There we go. And there is the meat and potatoes of the bones. I said, so this was a 97, 98 Honda Prelude H22A4. So this is an aluminum block H22. Right now it has a race car wire harness kind of tuned into it. So it's missing a couple of the sensors that you would normally see on like a stock wire harness. There we go. Has a Del Sol style gauge cluster in it right now. Uses the Del Sol column. Uses the Honda Del Sol seats. Uses old vintage style Honda S600 side emblems. Yeah, so there is Project Hondarod. It is the world's only mid-engine Honda powered hot rod. So again, we're doing a lot of call outs coming out this summer. There are a few other very, very cool hot rods with Hondas in them. None of them are mid-engine though. They're all front engine. So again, this is the world's only mid-engine Honda powered hot rod. If you know of another one, let me know. Please hit me up. Let me know. I would love to go cruising with the other one. But yeah, the front suspension on the car was built from scratch. Custom double A-arm setup. Uses Mustang 2 spindles. Uses GM metric calipers off of like a Monte Carlo. And again, Skunk 2 Pro ST coilovers. It does use QA1 rod ends and inner and outer tie rod ends because it does use the spherical rod ends. But yeah, there she is. And Again, I got to throw a huge shout out to my homie Don over at RPM Systems for giving me the secret sauce on what axles I need for this combo. And it works. It works really, really, really good. I can't even see the axle. Trust me, the axle is in. The axle is in. There we go. That's what you get. Sorry. But yeah, so that's my live for today, guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday night. Thank you so much for stopping by and saying hi. And I'm going to get out of here. I know that the axle is great. I got to send my buddy a text and give him a big thank you. And another day, we will get into some more fabrication, get into some more customization. And I will catch you guys all later. Have a wonderful one.